The rain beats relentlessly on Emma Carter's apartment windows all night long in Seattle. The treachery of her family has broken her heart, and now she stands in the dark light holding a crumpled schedule for a Caribbean trip. She feels a twinge of shame and fury with every furious voicemail that piles up on her phone. They discarded my 2 years of savings, my aspirations, and my love for her. She murmurs, her voice quivering. With her eyes watering, Emma slams the schedule to the floor. That's it. The walls are trembling as thunder crashes. Rain sounds reverberate as the screen goes dark. Almost a solemn promise, this is my beginning. As I arrive into my parents' driveway in my SUV, the dawn in Seattle is overcast and a thick mist clings to the Bellevue streets. 2 minutes later than expected, the dashboard clock reads it's 02 a.m. The significance of today is heavy, and my heart is already racing. Not because of the delay, though. In preparation for my parents' 35th wedding anniversary, I have spent the last 2 years saving up for a Caribbean trip. I planned it all out down to the last detail, seeing oceanfront private cabins snorkeling in azure waters, and romantic candlelit meals beneath the stars where I could finally feel seen. They would be smiling and I would laugh with them. I hold the steering wheel tightly, the engine humming behind me. The soft leather beneath my fingertips provides stability. Look at this, Emma. They were helped by you. With a sleek black luggage in tow, Mom Linda steps onto the porch as the front door swings wide. She smiles too brightly for the time of day, and her scarf flutters in the wind. With an artificial smile on my face, I get out of the car and go over to provide a hand. Apologies for being a bit tardy, Mom, I murmur, my voice not as heavy as it actually is. My younger sister Sophie comes bursting out of the house, her own bag bouncing after her. But then I see her. She has that smug expression on her face when she's won something and her blonde hair is bouncing. My grin goes paralyzed. Why is she in this place? Hey there, Em, Sophie chirps. She says with an air of false enthusiasm. Thank you for taking me out. My heart is thumping in my ears as I blink. Something is happening because the air feels heavier, as if the fog is suffocating me. Despite my best efforts, my voice betrays me and breaks as I inquire. Turning around, Mom's countenance remains excruciatingly happy. We opted for Sophie to come instead, Emma. Poor thing, ever since her split, she's been absolutely stressed. She is more in need of this vacation than you are. The words landed hard, rather than I, as if being squeezed by a vice, my chest constricted. This was my idea, Mom. I footed the bill for every single dessert, lodging, and tour. Remember, this was our vacation. My voice gets higher and harsher than I intended, yet my mom acts as if I've pointed out an error by waving a hand. You're usually so preoccupied with work, my darling, but we're very appreciative. Later on, you can go on another adventure. Sophie needs this now, she says without showing any remorse. She grinned and shifted her weight. You're the best, sis, she exclaims, her sincere appreciation matching her false tan. Without meeting my gaze, my dad Tom carries his luggage over to me and shuffles out. He says under his breath, "Let's not make a fuss, Emma." His voice just above the sound of the wind among the trees. Quite a sensation. My heart is hurting, not a fuss. As the mist drenches my hair and my fantasies disintegrate, I find myself immobilized in their driveway. For what 2 years of working, extra foregoing restaurant meals, fantasizing about their pride, and nothing. As if I were only a financial backer and not their daughter, my family. Stands there waiting for me to grin and nod so they may introduce Sophie in my place. I suppress the need to yell as I tighten my jaw. I opt instead to put on a painfully contorted smile. Very well, my voice sounds like a stranger's flat, so let's bring your luggage in. With a groan of the hinges, I open the trunk and take Sophie's bag out front. Like my wrath, which has settled deep into my bones, it appears lighter than it actually is. I look in the rearview mirror as I slam the trunk shut. My mouth is thin and my eyes are wide. Her face is unfamiliar to me. At this time, no. However, a change is occurring, a fire starting in the ashes of this morning. For some reason, they believe I'll accept this. They are mistaken. As I work in my downtown Seattle office, surrounded by the hum of the air conditioner, I can barely make out the city skyline through the rain-splattered windows. Just 1 week till the betrayal on the cruise, but the pain I'm experiencing now is just a taste of what's to come. For months, I have sacrificed sleep, lunch, and revisions in an effort to bring in a large customer for our business. Now the culmination of my labor is visible on my laptop screen in the form of the final slides of our marketing campaign. I own every pixel, every graphic, and every tagline. With the chair making a creaking sound, I recline and give myself permission to be proud. My employer, Claire, has given me this opportunity, and I want to make the most of it. With the lingering aroma of burnt coffee, the conference room is alive with the sound of the team's arrival. Under the light of the fluorescence, Claire's spectacles sparkle as she stands atop the table. "Team, we absolutely crushed it," she exclaims with a vivacious tone. Thanks to Mark's amazing advertising, the customer signed on. My stomach sinks at the thought. Hello, Mark. Seated across from me at the table, my coworker wears a slightly crooked tie and smiles condescendingly. Not even a twitch escapes him. "Just doing my part," he replies, taking in the thunderous acclaim. Under the table, my fists tighten as my nails sink into my palms. An initiative I spearheaded, my job taken away. I patiently for Claire to correct her and bring up my name, Emma Carter, the one who had retinal burns from finishing those slides. However, she discards that thought and goes on to the next priority. Whispers reduce the room's volume to a low rumble. The deletion is more problematic than the credit itself. At home, Sophie is always first, and I am invisible. So now I'm also invisible at work. The pain and fury in my heart is like a drumbeat. Looking across at Mark, I notice that his grin matches Sophie's, and then it hits me, this is my life, selflessly serving unseen. With the sound of coffee cups clinking, serving as a stark backdrop, I approach Mark in the break room after the meeting. "Mark, that was my campaign," I claim, my voice trembling and low. "I made it from the ground up," he says with a shrug as he puts sugar into his cup. "Let's keep it professional, Emma." On the last email, Claire saw my name, relatively insignificant. The air is heavy with his odor, yet I clench my fists and try to breathe anyhow. "To me, it's very important," I exclaim. He steps away laughing. "Take it easy on yourself." I return to my workstation and pull out my diary, the pages weathered by months of late-night musings. I jot down, "Why do I allow other people to go over me? Home is where Sophie is, presenting Mark. How long till I am a matter?" As I hold it, the pen sways and smears ink. Even if everyone else in the workplace is busy, I am here gazing at the reality completely alone. Whether it's campaigns, family vacations, or dashed hopes, I've always been the dependable one who gets the job done. The question is, who will repair me? The leather cover of my diary feels chilly as I close it. Outside, the rain is pounding harder a beat that echoes my heartbeat. This goes beyond a single campaign. My worth is at stake. All the hours I've spent preparing for Mom and Dad's arrival on the trip come flooding back to me. Maybe I should start seeing myself if they and Mark are unable to. This idea is like a spark, weak but alive, flickering in the dreary early sky over Seattle. It has to change, but I can't quite put my finger on it just yet. Exceeding my expectations is my right. In my SUV, the air is heavy with whispers as I slowly suffocate on the way to Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. With fingers turning pale, I clutch the wheel as the Bellevue streets merge with the hum of the freeway. The sound of Sophie's incessant grating speech reverberates throughout the vehicle. My goodness, Mom! I am so excited to share pictures from the Bahamas. Will we be able to go shopping? On the other hand, will yesterday be devoted to the cruise details in the back seat? Her phone blinks with TikTok videos. With her scarf grazing the dashboard, Linda hums in time. We'll find a way, my darling. It's your journey as well. Your journey. The words cut me like a knife, their cold, keen edge. Their we no longer includes me. The repetitive swipe of the wipers against the precipitation catches my attention as I fixate on the road. As it thuds into my ribs, my heart is pounding. They rewrote my name out of the deal after I saved enough for 2 years and fantasized of a Caribbean vacation with private accommodations, snorkeling, and stargazing. While I'm only the driver, Sophie gets my position, my dream, and all the stress from her split. I catch a glimpse of Dad, actually Tom, in the rearview mirror, and he turns aside, fiddling with his jacket. Emma, I really appreciate you driving. He whispers his voice, barely over Sophie's laughter. Is that all? Is that just my luck? Sure, Dad, I reply, imitating a stranger's flat voice. A scream is trying to get out of my throat, but I'm holding it in with clenched jaw. My inner voice wants to scream out and demand to know why Sophie comes first and why my efforts are in vain. No, I am not. At this time, no. In contrast to the drab sky, the verdant airport signage stand tall and proud. With a strong scent, Sophie leans forward. You're not angry, are you, Em? Letting me go is a huge deal, you know. I could never afford this, she says with an air of contrived thankfulness that seems like she practiced it. My lips hurt when I grin narrowly. Yes, Sophie, of course. As my chest tightens like a drum, I swallow the lie, even though it burns. The arrival of the drop-off zone is accompanied by a low-volume din of passengers' footsteps. As the rain patters down on my face, I bravely emerge to help them unload their heaviest bags. The burden in my heart is far heavier than the strain on my arms. As Linda envelops me in an embrace, her scarf caresses my cheek. I appreciate your understanding, my love. Her words are comforting, yet they sting like salt in a cut, and we and Sophie both mean a lot by this. As Sophie begins to roll her luggage toward the terminal, she gives a kind wave. To put it simply, you are exceptional, Em. Her voice is light and carefree as she shouts out, "The top." Of course, as the SUV cools, I stand alone by its ticking engine. My hair clothes and rage are all clinging to the mist. Their laughter reverberates weakly as they fade into the airport, leaving me with the stark reality I have been wiped. As if everything were hers, I gave Sophie my life's work, my passion, and my goal. I clench my fists and bite my nails. My eyes hurt from hot, unwelcome tears. I return to the driver's seat, the leather making a sound as I clench my fists around the wheel. I'm through being their best, I murmur, my voice quivering. Much like the gaping chasm in my chest, the highway continues on indefinitely into the distance. However, a glimmer of a spark exists deep inside. I am unsure of what lies ahead, but I do know this: I will not tolerate this way of life any longer. After the morning's mayhem, the utter quiet of my Seattle flat is a welcome return. I feel the storm intensifying in my chest, while the gentle beat of the outside rain tapping on the windows does little to calm me. The sound of my keys clink on the counter reverberates through the empty room. All the familiar things in my living room, including a half-read book, a cup from yesterday's coffee, and comfy throw blankets, make me feel like they don't belong here. As I slump onto the couch, the cushions creaking beneath my weight, I fix my gaze on the coffee table where the schedule for our Caribbean vacation is displayed. As a memento of the goal, I dedicated my life to its once sharp edges, now bear the marks of my clutch at the airport. For 2 years, I put in extra hours, turned off restaurant dinners, and imagined my parents' embarrassment, all so Sophie might take my position. An alert from Linda says, "At the gate," and my phone starts buzzing. "Thank you once more, Emma." I nervously drop the phone upon the pillow. Everything about the betrayal. Sophie's smile, Mom's dismissive wave, Dad's averted eyes, replays in my head like a terrible movie. The cruise is only one part of it. Sophie's capriciousness dictates the itinerary on every single holiday. Every time we had a family dinner, she would bring up her breakup problems and ignore my promotions. I've always taken charge, been the go-getter, and the one who ensures everything runs well. Also, why is it to be replaced without hesitation? As I make my way to the kitchen, I can hear the floor squeak as I walk on it. My reflection, red-eyed and jaw tense, caught in the chrome of the toaster. Which lady is this? Not the Emma who accepts it with a grin. No more. The leather cover of my journal is worn from late-night confessions, so I take it off the counter. "I gave them everything," I wrote as I turn it over, open. "Just why am I never sufficient?" As it presses down on the paper, the pen smears ink. The emptiness in my chest has been neglected for far too long, and now it hurts. Out of the blue, I hear a knock at the door. Standing in our favorite Capitol Hill cafe with 2 piping hot coffees are none other than my best friend Rachel Nguyen. The rain has soaked her black hair, yet her grin is comforting and reassuring. "Heard you had a rough morning," she adds, passing me a cup. As I recount the events, Sophie's takeover, Mom's justifications, and Dad's remaining silent, the warmth spreads into my hands. In a hushed tone, Rachel listens. "Forever, Emma, they have used you. You're like a doormat, a planner, and an ATM to them. Tell me when it's my time." One of her remarks sparked a fire in the parched grass. It is my time now. That's an interesting perspective. Because I've been preoccupied with making other people happy, arranging their vacations, and celebrating their victories, I've neglected my own life. With a low voice, I confess, I am unsure of how to cease. Ferocious Rachel lunges forward. "No" is the first thing you say. Her unwavering belief in you inspires a level of rebellion I haven't experienced in a long time. My eyes dart back to the schedule where the big font taunts me once again. There on the dining table, silently inviting, is my laptop. Maybe I can do something," I whisper under my breath. Rachel feels a change and smiles. I'm in love with her. As I open the laptop, the light from the screen casts shadows on my face, telling them the truth about Emma Carter. I keep my fingers poised over the keyboard, ready to book cruises through the travel accounts. A fire is kindling in my breast, ready to be stoked. They assume that I will simply accept this and continue to roll over. Now that I'm done, everything will change. This is the point at which I retalk. Sharp shadows are produced on the walls of my Seattle flat by the light from my laptop screen, which slices through the gloom. The outside rain has subsided to a gentle drizzle, however, within my heart races to the rhythm of a drum. Cramped on the coffee table sits the Caribbean cruise schedule, a memento of my dashed hopes. Mom and Dad saved enough for 2 years and planned every detail. Private cabins, sunset cruises, gourmet dinners, only to give it to Sophie. With the flickering cursor acting as a challenge, I access the travel agency's website, my fingers shaking with fear. Rachel's words reverberate in my mind. When is it going to be your turn, Emma? Here and now. Now it's my time. My password is a relic of the many late hours I spent planning this vacation, so I use it to access my account. The interface loads with a clean grid of bookings, private villas, snorkeling trips, a picnic beneath the stars with 5 courses. A knot forms in my throat. We had anticipated this as our time to truly feel like their daughter, and not only their planner. Their focus was on Sophie instead of my years of selflessness while she went through a breakup. Fury is rising like a flood, and my jaw tightens in response. Their desire for her is strong enough that they may have her account of the trip instead of mine. The first reservation I make is for a suite in a private cabin. You are asked to cancel this booking on the screen. A flutter of uncertainty fills my chest as my index finger twitches over the button. Do I actually intend to do this? As I swallow my sorrow, clean up their trash, and smile through their dismissals, the years of being the good daughter fly past. That was enough. Cancellation processed pings a notification which I click confirm with. A sudden definitive sound, like a door slamming shut, indicates that a refund is forthcoming. I feel a slight easing in my chest. I have achieved one goal. The next part is the trips. A private beach day, a catamaran trip, and snorkeling in the Bahamas. I imagined my parents' expressions of delight and amazement. On my dime, I can now envision Sophie's conceited selfies and TikToks gaining popularity. Now I deliberately cancel each one and my clicks are faster. As I continue to construct a barrier between myself and their demands, the confirmations continue to pile up in my inbox. "You're not their ATM," Rachel remarked crisply. On that point, she is correct. Funding their treachery is something I'm done with. Last but not least is the dinner package, which includes a 5-star cuisine that I stress-cooked until it was just right. The reimbursement notification was a subtle win, so I canceled without thinking twice. I retain their ordinary cruise tickets so they can still travel even if it means they'll be eating buffet crap in a cramped room. So Sophie may savor that. Emma, the cruise line, says our cabin's gone. Linda texts me as my phone buzzes. "What's going on? Solve this deal." Her words reverberate in my mind, transporting me to the old Emma who would have jumped to comply if she saw them on the television. Today is not the day. The sound of the phone's ringing was muted as I turned it face down on the couch. I relax as the steady hum of the laptop fills the room. I reach for a pen and jot down, "This isn't petty." My diary is open next to me. I offered them my everything, and they returned the favor with 0. It's just, now they get nothing. The words come out of me rough and unfiltered, yet they liberate something. No longer am I trembling, my hands are firm. The laptop screen goes dark as I shut it. Although the rain is hardly audible outside my condo, my thoughts are racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour. They expected me to accept it as usual. They were mistaken. Their wrath is building up like the emails in my inbox, and my phone is buzzing again. Linda, Sophie, and perhaps Dad. I decline to verify it. I am free from their expectations for the first time in years. Exercising my muscles, I get up and look in the glass. I see my reflection with my shoulders back and my eyes blazing. Nor their fixer, nor even their doormat. This is Emma Carter. Reclaiming power, this is me. The early morning spark has blossomed into a blazing inferno. They will soon learn the hard way what occurs when you disappoint someone who has finished being cooperative. I sat on the couch, my phone a quiet burden in my grasp, while the rain has ceased in Seattle, leaving my apartment with a wet cold. Even with the lid closed, the freedom-inducing echoes of those cancellation emails continue to reverberate. I've reclaimed the Caribbean cruise, my lifelong goal, and the price my parents paid for it from them. Seafood meals, luxury cabins, and snorkeling are all off the menu. Their vacation will be provided, but it will be stripped down, and not the one I had envisioned. My journal is out in the open, with the last entry reading, "This is justice." However, even with justice, the guilt continues to bite, and a small voice asks, "Are you sure I decide to lower it?" They settled on a decision. They continue to live with it. The stillness is broken by the buzzing of my phone. The screen goes dark while a voicemail from Sophie is played. I tap play after a little pause, my thumb lingering. Her speech smacks of entitlement, anger, and sharpness. "Emma, you are really self-centered. Our whole itinerary, including rooms and excursions, has been canceled according to the cruise operator. It was you, wasn't it? You better have this fixed immediately, or I'll consider you dead." The comments hurt, but they also spark intense wrath. Fatal to her. Once I had paid for her mini vacation with a tightening of my jaw, I erased the message, the swipe symbolizing a subtle defiance. "Emma, this isn't funny." Linda texts Emma, causing even another buzz. We are told by the cruise line that there are no more reservations. Contact them right away. I recognize her tone of urgency. It was the same when Mom needed me to settle her overdue bills or clean up Sophie's mess. Even as my chest tightens, I remain silent. "Emma, this isn't you," comes Dad's word, which is heavier but yet gentler. "Contact us via phone. Concerned, we are concerned." Concerning what their trip that they spoiled, or the daughter they erased. I placed the phone on the pillow, which dampened its ringtone. Their words are like chains. They want me to return to the previous Emma, the one who would have apologized and fixed things. No more. Something fresh and new to breathe is what I need. With my coat in tow, I make my way to the Capitol Hill Cafe. We love the one with the patterned seats and the aroma of freshly roasted beans. 2 steaming lattes are on the table beside Rachel Nguyen, who is already there with her black hair tucked beneath a hat. According to her, "You look like you just fought a war," as she slides a cup toward me. Out of my fragile state, I chuckle and reveal everything: Sophie's threats, Mom's demands, and Dad's guilt trip. Sharp and angry, Rachel's eyes narrowed. "Emma, they're upset because you're no longer a pawn in their game. They have been following in your footsteps indefinitely. Keep going, hold on tight, and don't be pulled back." I trace the edge of my cup as I confess I feel guilty. Her words serve as a lifeline, a stabilizing force. Rachel bares her teeth and lunges forward, her voice trembling with betrayal. "They duped you. Sophie received the dream that you bestowed upon them." Nodding, I let go of the guilt and felt a twinge of rebellion. "You're not the bad guy here." On that point, she is correct. They've used me as an ATM, a planner, and even a doormat. My work is done. There are 3 more texts and another voicemail on my phone when I get home. Emma, we're at the port tomorrow, and they say we're in a tiny cabin. Linda's voice is suddenly quite loud. A solution must be found. In the midst of my statement, I delete it, rolling my eyes. Emma, this is so petty, Sophie says next, her tone betraying her own sense of entitlement. We can't go on this trip because of you. I make a harsh, bitter sound when I laugh, endangering their vacation. It was mine that they disfigured. With my hands steadier and my heart lighter, I also remove it. We didn't intend to hurt you, Emma, is the final subdued statement from Dad. I hesitate to call back, even though his words are pulling at me, since I want to chat. Speak. Surely they have plenty of time to chat to me and see me. Right now they aren't able to accomplish it the way they want. The floors squeak as I pace back and forth. I feel like I'm finally making my mark on the flat, and it feels much larger than before. A lady with furious eyes and a raised chin appears in my reflection in the glass, who I'm beginning to recognize. As usual, they believe I will give in. They believe that their wrath will shatter me. However, I will not break. Allow them to fury at the port and misery in their confined space. I am building. It feels good to have reclaimed my control. This is far from done, but I'm prepared to face whatever challenge lies ahead. The rain has subsided to a gentle drizzle, creating streaks on the glass, as the twilight in Seattle envelops my flat in a serene stillness. After eventually ignoring the onslaught of irate messages and voicemails from Tom, Sophie, and Linda, my phone now rests quietly on the coffee table. Every returned booking was one step closer to being their doormat, and the Caribbean cruise cancellations. My act of rebellion continued to buzz in my thoughts, but the rebellious glimmer I felt this morning is so delicate. I fear it may die away if my guilt gets the best of me. To keep it alive, I need something or someone. I'll be at the community center tonight, Rachel texted, and my phone beeped. Believe me, Emma, despite my uncertainty, I'm prepared for a change. So I snatch up my jacket and put it on, feeling the cool leather on my fingertips. String lights gently illuminate the Capitol Hill Community Center, casting a lovely light over its brick facade. Unlike the clinical coldness of my family's expectations, the air inside is filled with the aromas of cedar and freshly brewed coffee. Rachel, with her hat slightly pulled to one side, gives me the royal treatment as she introduces me to a women's empowerment club. Under her breath, she says, "Here you find your people." Her eyes sparkle with excitement. A loose circle of women, some my age and others older, sat in this room, their voices a soft hum of laughing and storytelling. Rachel pushes me ahead, even though I'm hesitant and have my hands in my pockets. Emma, you are not in this alone. I don't think so anymore. The group's guide, Dr. Karen Lee, stands in the middle, her glistening silver hair. Drawing attention to herself, she has a steady, hearth-like voice. We're come to take back our lives, she declares. She tells her experience of decades of trying to please a family that never noticed her until she finally decided enough is enough and established boundaries and chose herself no matter how difficult it was. Her remarks were like a wave that swept away the sharp edges of my pain. That's me, always helping, always donating, and never seen. As I hold on to my journal, its leather cover a comforting anchor, I listen to the stories of others. A woman breaking free from her abusive ex. A lawyer learning to reject her parents' requests for financial support. Their bravery inspires me, and I want to emulate it. In order to facilitate a boundary-setting activity, Karen distributes note cards. she advises that you name one item that you will no longer tolerate. With a quiver in my hand, I gaze upon the empty card. As the light dims, I see glimpses of Sophie's sly smile, Linda's condescending wave, and Tom's closed eyelids. Writing down the words, "I will not be their fixer anymore," makes me feel as if I'm swearing to myself. Mia, a woman with sweet but weary eyes, was the one to whom I read my book as we shared in pairs. "I understand," she utters. "My family also expects me to find solutions to all of their problems." She nods in agreement, and I feel my breath finally catch up in my chest, like if I've been holding it for years. After that, with the cups still warm in our hands, Rachel smiles as we drink coffee. "You see, standing up to them isn't insane, I tell you." I laugh, a genuine laugh, a free and light laugh. I was under the impression that I confess publicly, but this feels right. Karen walks over to join us, a soft grin streaming down her face. "Emma, your strength is more than you realize." I nod, making a solemn vow to myself, while she taps my journal, encouraging me to continue writing my truth. When I go home, I crack it out and jot down some new objectives like travel alone, be vocal about your feelings on the job, live for me. Every phrase builds a fresh foundation that they cannot destroy. Now that I'm here, the flat feels more like home. A gentle lullaby, not a storm, is the sound of the outside rain. No more notifications, no more requests. My phone remains black. The gang, their experiences, and their resilience come to mind. I am not merely Emma Carter, the recipient's daughter. Hey there, I'm Emma, the self-determined lady. What started as a flicker this morning has grown into a steady and brilliant flame. They may fume at their port of embarkation all they want, but I've discovered a better place, a group of people who recognize me, and a road that belongs to me. For the first time in my life, I'm not scared of what lies ahead. I feel the vitality of New York City as soon as the jet lands at JFK. With my rucksack draped over one shoulder, I disembark into an atmosphere charged with potential and jet fuel. In a fit of rebellion, I planned a solo trip, and I'm spending the first vacation alone in years. No, I'm not the Emma Carter who cures everyone's problems. I'm just me. The downpour in Seattle and the fury within my family. The messages from Linda, Sophie, and Tom feel like a million miles away. After Sophie won out against me, the Caribbean cruise I had planned for them is now nothing more than a phantom, with all of the fancy accommodations and excursions scrapped. Live for me. This city, this very time, is where I begin, written in my journal that I keep in my backpack. As I make my way across Central Park, I can feel the October leaves crunching beneath my feet. The red and gold hues of these leaves reflect the fire within me. Dog walkers, street performers, and the faraway horns of cabs make the city buzz. My lungs fill with liberation when I take a deep inhale. My time, my money, and my heart are not being demanded by anybody here. The gentle scrape of my pencil on the page is a subtle defiance as I perch on a seat and draw the cityscape in my diary. For the first time in weeks, I break into a genuine smile as a street seller offers me a hot pretzel, the salty bite tingling my mouth. I own this. The velvet chairs of the theater are so comfortable on my jeans while I watch a Broadway musical at night. With the dazzling stage lights and the soaring vocals of the actors, I am engrossed in a narrative that is not the drama of my family. There are no buzzies that would make my phone turn off. Rachel said it best in Seattle, "You're not their puppet anymore." And I couldn't agree with her more. There's no way I am. As I savor my meal in solitude at a charming cafe in the West Village, the sound of wine glasses clinking and the chatter of random patrons envelops me. A man who seems to be from Brooklyn, the waiter, smiles. "Is this your first trip to the city?" My response is a nod. It's obvious that you're attractive. I jot down his words in my journal. Own it. They hit me like a ton of bricks. In the middle of the week, I get a ring from Linda, who appears to be on a cruise. As the music in the cafe begins to fade, I pause before responding. The urgency in her voice is palpable. There is no dinner package, and we are in a cramped cabin. "Emma, please rectify this." I can feel my heart racing as the old Emma longs to offer an apology and put things right. I am not who she was anymore. "You made your choice, Mom," I remark, as I lean back in my chair, which is squeaking. "Sophie was your desire. This is what you get." She paused for a long time, her breath trembling. "How on earth could you, Emma Hersing?" she says. Uninhibitedly, I chuckle. "How on earth could it be? In return for all that I did for you, you did absolutely nothing." I say, "Enjoy your trip?" As I hang up, my hands remain firm and the jazz harmonies reappear. With a knowing nod, the waiter meets my gaze. Nodding in return, I do the same. That's it. The High Line, a popular, elevated park among both visitors and New Yorkers, is where I choose to spend my final day. Beneath me, the Hudson River reflects my inner monologue. To myself, I write, "I'm not only surviving, I'm here. This city, this journey, it's all mine." A woman who is also drawing grins at me. "You appear to be quite content," she remarks. "Are you joyful?" The term passes my test. Saying that I am taken aback, she chuckles. "Very well, that is mine to keep. I am not frightened of the rain that will fall on my family as we wait in Seattle. Here I am finally discovered." My heart rate is in perfect harmony with the city's powerful cadence. They believed they could break me, but I'm constructing something new, something that cannot be broken. With my heart full and my steps sure, I close my diary as the skyline sharpens against the dark. You have only scratched the surface. As I wait on the porch swing at my parents' house, I can feel the crisp evening air in Bellevue and the quiet of the Seattle suburbs. The drive over left my SUV's engine warm, and now it sits in the driveway. Linda, Tom, and Sophie's Caribbean cruise is done, and they are anticipated to return any minute now, with the headlights of their cab cutting through the fading light. After being replaced by Sophie, I canceled their plans for luxury cabins excursions and dining my dream for them. After Linda begged me to fix their trip in New York, I hung up, and my phone has been quiet ever since. Tucked away in my bag is my diary where I write the truth. I'm done being their doormat. Now when we meet face to face, I will make it obvious. I am prepared, albeit my heart races. The air is pungent with pine and moist grass, and the swing makes a noise as I move. A cab approaches, its tires squeaking on the dirt road while headlights pulse. Sophie is the first to bolt out, her blonde locks in a tangled mess and her bag clomping behind her. "I hope you're happy." "Emma," she snaps, she says, breaking the silence. "You destroyed us." Linda clings on her wrath, visible on her tense face as she follows. "Emma, you made it such that we would fail. What would you do?" Tom follows closely behind, his shoulders down and his gaze anchored to the floor. Even though my heart is racing, I stand up on the swing, my hands unwavering as I support myself. When I finally quit running, this will happen. Disgraced you. In spite of Sophie's intense stare, I speak in a low but forceful tone. "You snatched my vacation, Sophie." With the creaking of the porch boards, I go ahead my money plans and heart all gone, and you didn't bat an eye. I offered you a vision and you made me take a back seat. No need to bring up the subject of shame. Sophie crosses her arms and scoffs. It went horribly wrong. Squashed rooms, terrible meals, and 0 excursions. What a bunch of dopes, she's so entitled, yet I refuse to back down. Good, I respond quickly. Perhaps you'll reconsider taking something that doesn't rightfully belong to you. Linda draws nearer, her gaze ablaze. It was cruel, Emma. What you had in mind was well out of our price range. How could you wish for our misery? The old Emma who would give in and mend it would feel the sting of her words. I am now accompanied by the New York skyline Rachel's singing, and the women's group. My shoulders are squared. Is it cruel, silently took my place. I put down money for the voyage for US for a long time. Sophie was your choice, Mom. My voice rises solid and unwavering. Without me, you cannot appreciate my labor. With her confidence trembling, Linda opens and shuts her mouth. Tom breaks the silence with a low, gravelly voice. Emma, there was no need for you to cancel anything. My heart is racing, and I look across at him with a troubling expression on my face. Is it going too far, Dad? Let Mom and Sophie remove me. Wasn't it too much? When you remained silent for so long, I feel a pinch of affection, sadness, and rage as he grimaces and looks away. It's meant to be our family, I tell you, my voice quivering. I felt like I had no value because of you. I will not allow you anymore. Sophie expels a frustrated exhale. It's rather dramatic, Emma. Money is money. Is it everything? My chuckle is acerbic and resentful. Solely funding. My sacrifice was this, Sophie. For years I toiled away, sacrificing my aspirations for yours. And you believe you have a right to it. With her grin gone, she stops moving, and I catch a glimpse of what may be guilt for a second. As if reaching out, Linda's hand twitches and her eyes soften. Emma, she begins, but I raise an objection. Mother, no. The decision is yours. Accept it and move forward. Stepping off the porch, I snag my bag while the swing squeaks. With a cool, collected tone, I respond, I'm glad you're back safe. However, I will no longer act as your fixer. I turn around and head straight for my SUV, their noises becoming louder behind me. Sophie's moan, Linda's scream, and Tom's whisper. The last sound, similar to a lock clicking shut, is made by the driver's door slamming. Although my heart is still racing, it is now lighter, and my grip on the wheel is steady. With Bellevue disappearing behind me, the headlights slice through the fading twilight as I accelerate. They believed they could contain me. That was a mistake. I am Emma Carter, and I am completely unrestricted. Standing in my apartment with a paint roller, I am greeted with a gentle Seattle morning light as the sun peeks through the fog. A vibrant shade of turquoise now adorns the once subdued beige walls of my living room. They reflect the spirit of the lady I'm evolving into. My parents' Bellevue porch was the scene of the showdown a few weeks ago, when I informed Linda, Tom, and Sophie that I was done playing the role of fixer for them. A fading scar is the Caribbean trip I had planned, complete with luxury accommodations and tours, which were canceled once Sophie was replaced with me. The adrenaline rush of New York City is like a constant companion, reminding me of the independence I fought for. Live for me. This apartment, this existence, is where I create that commitment written in my open diary on the coffee table. I lowered the roller, inhaling the crisp, clean aroma of new paint. Now that my family isn't yelling at me to reverse my cancellations, my phone stays silent. I have initiated subtle yet profound shifts, A modern gray sofa and a colorful rug that I picked out are now in place of the Linda-given pieces that were burdened with their expectations. They feel as though each piece is an unmovable block in a new foundation. With my eyes wide open and my hair down, I grin when I see myself reflected in the glass. Emma Carter is not their doormat. She is this. Here I am. There has been a change at work as well. My reputation has taken a hit since I exposed Mark's attempt to take credit for my advertising effort. Claire, my supervisor, summoned me to her office yesterday as the glittering Seattle skyline framed her. She said, "Emma, you've got fire," as her spectacles reflected the light. "I want you to spearhead our next major project." I didn't think twice, even though my heart was racing. "I'm in," I declared with a calm, confident tone. Say goodbye to being a distant memory. At work or elsewhere, I will no longer be invisible. My desk is now a blank slate of thoughts, not the property of another person, and I am prepared to face the challenge of this endeavor. Plus, I finally had the time to enroll in a photography class, something I've always wanted to do, but never had the chance to. As I strolled around Pike Place Market last weekend, I snapped pictures of the fluttering fish, the blossoming flowers, and the beating pulse of the city. I feel anchored by the rhythm of the shutter's snap. I am more than simply a photographer. I am experiencing life via my lens. As they warmly chuckle, my classmates, a diverse group of dreamers, cheer my shoots. Now I'm making my own frame instead of repairing someone person's. Rachel Nguyen forces me to accompany her on a trek with the Women's Empowerment Group. We'll be hiking through trails above Seattle that are covered in fallen leaves. We can almost smell the wood in the chilly air as our boots crunch together. As we ascend, our younger member, Mia, smiles. "Standing up to your family? Emma is like being a superhero," I exclaim while gasping for air. "No heroism here, just much stubbornness," she says, yet her words linger. I am inspired by the depth of our group's knowledge and the passion of Rachel. Now I have company. My home is when I open my journal, which is filled with my fantasies. My life, my rules, my joy. The words flow like a chant, propelling me ahead with each stroke. As the sun sets, my once refuge becomes a home, and the teal walls reflect the light. The glittering Seattle skyline outside is a sign of what's to come. I like to keep my distance from those who put others before myself. I create my own reality, and I am fearless and unapologetic about it. I am prepared to take the next step into the unknown. At sunset, the skyline of Seattle becomes a serene silhouette outside my window, and the flat is bathed in gentle purple hues. My diary is open on the coffee table as I sit on my new gray couch, feeling the cold cloth on my palms. It has been weeks since I stood on the porch of my parents' Bellevue home and told Linda, Tom, and Sophie that I was done playing fixer for them. The Caribbean vacation, which had been my wish for them, but was shattered when they picked Sophie over me, is like a faraway wound sore but mending. A new Emma Carter, one who chooses herself, has been developed by the Freedom of New York, the Women's Empowerment Organization, and my photography class. However, this evening my phone is lit up with texts like, "Hiamo, if the past were attempting to entice me back." "Emma, we messed up," Linda writes in an unexpectedly kind text message that triggers the story. "Have you heard of me?" A simple request free of accusations or demands. As I fiddle with the controls, my emotions, a mix of doubt and a subtle pain, keep me glued to the screen. Never before has Mom apologized. "I didn't intend to harm you, Em," Sophie said, her tone defiant, but ultimately vulnerable. Apologies, all right, pardon me. So I canceled their cruise incentives, and Sophie accused me of being selfish. I put the phone down as the light began to fade. Their remarks bring back a flood of memories of being their unseen daughter planner and ATM for so many years. How reliable is this? Following this, Tom's name will flash like a ghost as he calls out. The line crackles as I pause before answering. Saying Emma, he speaks with a heavy, exhausted voice. You were taken for granted by us, he says. I'm sorry. We didn't realize the significance of the cruise to you. His comments hit close to home, dragging at the girl who yearned for nothing more than her dad's approval. Now I know too much to just fold. With a calm yet incisive voice, I respond, You didn't see me, Dad? Without uttering a word, you let Mom and Sophie to obliterate me. An apology won't change that, he says with a stone-crushing sigh. I see. Hey, Emma, we're game to give it a shot. Please. I stop feeling the weight of the quiet. I require personal space, I eventually state. Prove to me that you are sincere, not just with words, but with deeds. I end the call shaking with fear, but with composed emotions. I'm no longer their go-between. With a plethora of takeaway from our beloved Capitol Hill eatery, Rachel Nguyen swings by. As she removes her boots, the room is filled with the aroma of fragrant pad thai. Heard your phone is freaking out, she replies with a smile. All the messages, calls, and apologies are out in the open. Rachel has these intense, menacing eyes, and I must confess that I am not sure I accept their sincere apologies. They are not excused, Emma. You have created something truly remarkable in their absence. Make them pay you back, I chuckle, sharing in her enthusiasm. To the Emma who refuses to give in, she says, lifting a Pepsi can in toast. I sense it power, not duty, as we clink, the sound clear and audible. The words of my family are like seeds. I am not yet prepared to sow them. At this time, no. The floors squeak as I pace back and forth. As a constant reminder of the life I'm creating, Photography Employment Group, hikes my teal walls light up. I am the owner of my own sorrow, not theirs. The woman I see, reflected in the window, is one who has battled for and won her own rights. Let them make an effort to mend what they've damaged. I will not be patient. As I reach for my journal, I jot down the words, my peace, my terms. The city outside is alive and bustling just as I am. My name is Emma Carter, and I will not be returning. As the sun sets over Seattle, casting a warm golden light over the community center, the air on Capitol Hill is crisp with the first signs of fall. My heart is pounding yet steady as I stand at the front of the Women's Empowerment Group, clutching my diary like a shield. Months have gone by since I proclaimed my dissatisfaction with being my folks' fixer as I left their Bellevue porch. After Linda, Tom, and Sophie choose her over me, the Caribbean holiday I had planned, its luxury ruined, is now only a distant memory, overshadowed by the life I've created for myself. Thanks to the liberties of New York, my photography class, and my new job, I am now Emma Carter, and I select herself. For all of our sakes, I will be telling them that story tonight. The air is thick with the aroma of coffee and cedar as it hums with comfort. As I start, Dr. Karen Lee gives a nod from the center of the circle, her silver hair reflecting the sun. I was their doormat. I declare, my voice remaining unbroken and clear. I spared no expense, 2 years' worth of finances, and my entire being planning a magical trip for my loved ones. The women lean in their eyes, knowing and compassionate, as they substitute me with my sister treating me as if I were nothing. I fill them in on the details of canceling the engagements, the rhythm of New York, and my confidence-inspiring porch stand. I finally figured out how to say no, I declare, so you may pick me. Even if it's not easy, it's freedom. A younger member named Mia wipes a tear as she nods, reflecting my own experience. My words ignite more than simply telling a tale. With a gentle voice, Karen smiles. Emma, you've matured. Could you perhaps give us a workshop? I'm taken aback, Mia figurehead. The burden of their confidence rests like a crown on my shoulders as I nod. Mia, her voice timid, later draws me aside. I was motivated by you, Emma. As I embrace my mom, my heart overflows with joy. I tell her I won't mediate her arguments any longer. Mia, you are strong, I tell her. Keep going. Her grin is a blessing, evidence that I'm doing more than simply healing. I'm assisting others in their health journeys as well. With gentle feet and the night air caressing me, I depart, the group's applause lingering behind me. Sitting on my balcony at home, I can see the promise of Seattle's skyline glimmering below. Inside my teal-lit home, my new sofa serves as a personal throne. The pages of my journal are full with dreams, and I open them. Learn Spanish, I write. Launch your own freelancing enterprise. Travel to Hawaii. Be my horizon. Every objective is a stroke of a brush that I have the power to direct. Beneath me, the metropolis hums, its beat matching mine. My mind wanders to Rachel's toast, Karen's insight, and Mia's bravery. My family isn't shadowed by them, they are my tribe. I may sow the seeds of Linda's texts, Sophie's half apology, and Tom's call at a later, more convenient time. As I stand, I feel the cold wind caressing my face as I lean against the railing. A free lady with strong eyes and an open heart appears in my mirror image. I'm not the kind to put others' needs before my own. Hi, I'm Emma Carter. I create my own universe and serve as a mentor who encourages and supports others. They believed they could contain me, but I am limitless. The sun goes down, but my fervor remains. I am now embarking on this journey of self-discovery and freedom. The skyline of Seattle is a mosaic of lights that reflects the fire within me, and my balcony in Seattle sparkles in the waning light of evening. I'm Emma Carter now. I'm not Linda, Tom, and Sophie's go-to daughter anymore. Their decision to go with Sophie instead of me ruined the Caribbean vacation. I had meticulously planned 2 years of money, my heart in every detail. Refusing their luxury, I returned it and suddenly found myself immersed in the energy of New York, a women's empowerment organization, and the life I'm creating. As I gaze upon this metropolis, my diary adorned with visions that I alone can describe. I desire to impart my wisdom, not just for my own benefit, but also for yours. My time, my money, and my goals were all given to a family that never saw me. So I learned the hard way to value myself first. That was the definition of love I believed. It's not is the correct way to put it. Turn down requests that deplete your energy. Make the reservation, aim for the objective, prioritize your aspirations. I will pay for you. Second, decline what is sufficient. I had the misconception that expressing enough was vain. Ultimately, it came down to survival. Though it was painful telling my family I was done being their fixer, set me free. Whether it's with friends, coworkers, or family, draw a line and don't budge. Your tranquility cannot be compromised. Lastly, remember to reach out for support. Rachel and the empowerment group helped me realize I wasn't alone while I was drowning. Get around people who encourage you and see your potential mentors, friends, and a community. You are not required to battle alone. You will be empowered by their strength. Lastly, accept the change. It was my birth that made me let go of my previous position as the family's doormat, no matter how terrible it was. Leaping into the unknown is terrifying, but it's the only way to truly soar. Dare to be different, have faith in yourself, and see what happens. Here I am with a diary full of aspirations. Taking Spanish classes, starting a freelancing company, seeing the beaches of Hawaii because I made the choice to be me. Like me, you can do it. How would you want to begin? Put it down here. We can start fires in each other's hearts. My heart remains when the skyline disappears. We are starting here.